Hey everybody, what going on?
Hey everybody, what's up?
Welcome back to another episode of Soap and Sass.
With your co-hosts.
Great to be here, great to be here. Hope you guys are all doing well. And we are going to jump right into it.
Alrighty. So, this week's episode,
we are General Hospital, because it's just the one soap we're talking about still.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for this week's episode of Soap and Sass, we're covering General Hospital's episodes covering the week of January 21st to the 24th. And it was a pretty okay week, I would say.
Yeah, it was kind of blah.
You would think they would ramp it up since we're getting close to February.
Well, this is why I expect all the pepper. Next week, bring me some pepper sauce. Next week. So, yes, it's the week of January 21st to 24th. The episode was preempted on Monday due to the Martin Luther King holiday in the U.S. So, it's from Tuesday to Friday.
All right.
All right.
So, I had to pause because I said the 21st, and I'm like, that's true. We did miss a day. I did forget about that.
Not a problem. All right. Here we go. So, main storylines we're going to start with. Willow, who is the wife of Michael Corinthos III, who is in hospital. So she relented and decided to actually compromise with Sonny and Carly regarding Michael's care. They had differing opinions. Carly wanted to take him off to Germany. Willow and Portia is his medical doctor and chief of staff at General Hospital.
Chief of staff. As Britt would say.
Portia and Willow recommended that Michael be transferred to Johns Hopkins because it was closer, but Carly knew of this cutting-edge treatment, thank you, that had worked on Ava, who had been burned way in the past, and now you can't tell. So this is what she wanted for Michael. Sonny, Michael's father, said, well, you know what? Why don't we just ask Michael? We don't have to debate this. And everybody thought that was a good idea. Portia wakes Michael up out of his I guess, medically induced coma or heavy sedation. And they send Carly in. Everybody agreed that Carly was the best person to speak to him. Carly presented the options. Michael decided that, yes, he did, in fact, want to go with the experimental treatment in Germany. He also asked for Sasha, who, as we mentioned in last week's episode, but for anybody who's new, Michael had a one-night stand with Sasha when he found out that his wife, Willow, had been repeatedly sleeping with his uncle Drew.
Well, at this point, he didn't know it was repeatedly. He just knew they slept together because he had the evidence.
At the night that he and Sasha slept together, you're right. It was a one-time thing, but that had continued. So he called for Sasha because Sasha is now pregnant with his child. Unfortunately, Sasha was not able to get there in time because Michael was in far too much pain from his burns, and so Portia had to put him under again. And the other main storyline, which is the custody of Michael and Willow's children, because obviously Michael's not going to tolerate his wife's infidelity. Well, he would have. He was willing to reconcile, but Willow anyway. Very long story. People got involved. These two never actually got to speak.
Right. That will hopefully get dealt with.
Right? It would be lovely. So Tracy has been, to a certain extent, holding the children hostage, for lack of a better term. She will not give the children back to their mother, Willow. So Tracy had been arrested last week, and Jason, Michael's uncle, Tracy's nephew, succeeds in brokering a kind of a truce or a compromise between Tracy and Willow, despite Tracy being super stubborn and saying, I won't give in and I don't care if I go to jail. And despite Drew being in Willow's ear talking about, you don't have to listen to Jason, you don't have to compromise, these are your children. But Willow has seen reason, and she's like, no, I want my children back. And if this will work, and this can work, we can come to an amicable solution, I'm all for it. So that's what happens, and Willow moves back into the Quartermain's gatehouse, which is the main rich family in the story, and basically they control the town, so to speak. Moves back into their gatehouse where she had been living with Michael when they were married. And Tracy, after she's released from prison, they drop the charges against her for kidnapping the children. Tracy shows up at the gatehouse and lays down the law. You can stay here. Don't bring that nasty Drew in here. He's not allowed on the property.
Pretty simple.
And it makes sense to me because
Right?
Drew has just burned all his bridges with nearly everybody in town.
I'm with Tracy on this one. Don't let that ratchet ass man back on that property.
Absolutely. So it appears that Willow agrees because next thing we see Tracy's gone. So that's fine. And last main storyline, although for me it's a little bit minor, but I'm going to call it a major because he's a main character. Sonny, the mafia don of the town and Michael Corinthos' father, has another cardiac episode. He had been previously warned he needs to get some medical attention. He has not done that yet for any number of reasons, but he's citing the fact that Michael is in hospital and he needs to be there for him as one of the reasons why he hasn't gone to seek treatment. And additionally, he doesn't want anybody to know that he's unwell because if you're a mafia don, you can't show weakness.
Nope.
So he is refusing. So he has this cardiac episode after he has a visit from Ava Jerome, who is the mother of one of his many children, his youngest child? No, second youngest child.
Yeah, Donna's youngest.
Right, so Ava has gone to see him about custody of Avery because of this explosion that happened. Sonny refuses, but he's having this episode while Ava's there, doesn't want to show weakness to her either because that will give her a leg to stand on in the custody battle. As soon as she leaves, he tries to take a pill that he has for his heart, but it's too late. He collapses, the pills spill on the floor. Natalia, just call her side character, she comes in, finds him and the pills. She reads the pills. She understands what they're for. And she gives him one. She puts one in his mouth. She's calling the ambulance. And as she's on the phone with the 911 operator, asking for the ambulance, Sonny comes to and he's like, no ambulance. She's like, are you mad? Anyway, he eventually convinces her not to have an ambulance sent. Cool. Those are the main stories for the week. So. We have quite a number of side stories that we're advancing, so this list is a little bit long. So Christina, one of Sonny's daughters, and Ava, we just talked about her, the mother of Sonny's second youngest child, they have another run-in. Some time ago, there was an argument between Christina and Ava because Ava wanted Christina to testify in the custody battle. It ended up with Christina having a very serious accident, losing her child, so Ava and Christina do not get along. Christina has no use for Ava, but Ava was acquitted of
the crime.
Manslaughter.
The thing is, though, I don't think they've ever gotten along.
They have not, but this just made it worse. So they have another run-in. That's basically that, and Alexis takes Ava to task. After Sonny refuses to give Ava custody or even renegotiate custody with her after this explosion, Ava goes and talks to Rick Lansing, who happens to be Sonny's half-brother. Rick is Ava's attorney. Rick and Sonny, no love lost. They don't get along.
Also, Rick is the grandfather of the baby
that died.
Yeah, so when Christina got pushed out the window, the baby she was carrying, while yes, it was biologically hers, the baby was supposed to go to her little sister Molly. So in effect, Rick is the grandfather by adoption.
Molly is Rick's daughter.
So
they're sister cousins.
Yes, this family tree is
love soap operas.
Ugh.
So Rick is representing Ava in her custody battle. He has told Ava that she has to have an apartment because Ava's living in a hotel room.
Yep.
Can't remember why, but something had happened. But anyway, so Ava's living in a hotel room. Rick finds an apartment for her.
Oh,
so some back and forth.
I know why she's living in an apartment because she had
hotel.
Thank you, in a hotel because she had originally moved into Nina's apartment. Her apartment got broken into because there was a gun left. Anyway, ended up living with Sonny. Sonny kicked her out. She went to the Cosmopolitan. Hotel. There you go.
There you go. So
Hulk a mess, man. Hulk a mess.
Right, sidetrack. So Rick helped Ava find an apartment after some dispute because Ava is very posh, very rich. She's accustomed to, the finer things in life. This is basically a walk-up. It's a very small apartment, like a 3.5 for those of us here in Canada. But anyway, Rick manages to convince Ava, yes, it's a good idea to have an apartment to show you have a steady place for your child to live if you want custody. Ava says, okay, for whatever reason, because I blinked, they end up kissing. We saw this coming anyways.
So much tension, mood lighting, all of that.
They kissed.
And that's what convinced Ava.
I see. Side story number 3 this week is the reopening of Charlie's Pub, which is owned by Sonny, but he's given it to Christina.
So now Christina has ownership.
So now Christina has ownership. He gave it to her to take her mind off or give her something else to focus on after the death of her child.
Which, I will say, I am glad that my prediction of her renaming the pub was wrong. I'm glad she kept it as Charlie's.
I agree. So at the reopening, all of Port Charles's finest are there. Jordan Ashford, the deputy mayor.
Yep.
She's there with Isaiah Gannon, the new resident doctor. Well, I shouldn't say resident doctor because he's not a resident, but he's some highfalutin, super fancy.
He's a new resident in Port Charles. He's a doctor. Let's just say that.
And he's mad skills. And he's into Jordan. Jordan may or may not be into him.
I think she's into him, but it's kind of she balancing because she got her first She got her first man, and now she got Isaiah. So it's kind of like,
and we can go more in depth into that because I see you getting excited already. So Jordan is there with Gannon, and as she arrives at the pub to meet Gannon, in comes Brick, one of Sonny's right-hand man, technology partner.
And I have been saying for weeks,
or Baby Sass, loves this man off.
I've been saying for weeks, where is Brick? Especially since Isaiah came on the scene and he started flirting with Jordan. I said, where's Brick? Where is Brick? Brick needs to see this.
Brick is back.
Brick is back, and
Brick did see this.
He's seen the interactions.
We will get into that. At the bar are also Liz Weber, Lucky Spencer. Liz Weber, nurse at the hospital. Lucky Spencer,
bartender,
is the bartender, son of the mayor, Laura Collins. Liz and Lucky had a long time of fling and marriage since they were teenagers. They're high school sweethearts, let's call it. They're still trying to find out what Cyrus Renault's motive is for killing all these people in the hospital.
Oui.
They decide to go about this by pumping Cyrus's brother Martin, who's also a lawyer, and Lucky's uncle, and the mayor's brother.
For the information.
Yes.
Which we actually got some very interesting information.
We did.
Which
I was surprised. I was actually surprised. And it seems that the motive is something to do with Cyrus and Martin's mother, who had been ill. But yes. What else did we find out this week? Side story, Lucas and Joss. So Lucas is Carly's brother. Adopted brother. Joss's uncle. So they had a conversation because Lucas is the third part. What did you call them last week? The 3 L's?
Yeah.
LQ, the triple L. Triple L, I think is what you call them.
Triple L threat.
So Lucas is the third part of Triple L. He had been working with Liz and Lucky to try to figure out what Cyrus was up to. He's talking to Joss. Joss is upset because she made a mistake. Last week she confronted Cyrus when he was at the police station about having killed her former boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, I don't even know what to call him. Her late boyfriend, Dex Heller. And so Cyrus now knows that he has to cover his tracks because
this girl's a hothead.
Well, she's onto him. So Joss tells Lucas about it. Lucas tells her a little bit about what he and Lucky and Liz have been talking about with respect to Cyrus. And Joss is like, oh, I'm going to get him. Lucas cautions her. At the end of the week, we see Joss volunteering at Turning Woods, which is a place where Cyrus also volunteers,
but
where people tend to be terminally ill or rehabbing from something. So that is that story that's developing. We also have Cody Bell.
Oh, Cody.
Cody Bell, one of, I almost said Bay City. Whoops, I switched soaps. One of Port Charles's young hunks. I find him quite easy on the eyes.
Right.
He had been doing well. He says he's always had bad luck. His luck had turned around. Then just
tragedy.
Really bad writing, only because it's a story I didn't understand. But anyways, Cody's we said last week, bet all his money, lost it. So now he's getting drunk at this opening. Tries to blackmail Spinelli, who is for all intents and purposes his brother-in-law.
Yep. Basically.
Because Spinelli is married to... Dating Maxie, although, listen, if they don't get married...
We'll see. Maybe they'll bring in Nathan.
But Spinelli had hired Cody quite some time ago for a online dating site that Spinelli was running, and Spinelli's a technological genius, can hack just about anything. But there was some law that Spinelli broke. I can't quite remember, but whatever the law is, some law that Spinelli broke that Cody knows about. So Cody tried to blackmail Spinelli.
Did not end
Spinelli
well.
got mad because he's like, we're family. What are you doing? You know, like you could just ask for the money. Lucky steps in as these two men start to argue in the bar in the grand opening. And he's like, hey, what's going on? Cody tells him mind his own business and then punches Lucky in the face. So they both end up at the PCPD or Port Charles Police Department.
I think people know what PD means.
Sure, but they might not have known what PC meant if they're new viewers. But
fair enough.
You know. Cool. So that the PCPD. Okay. Let me see where else do we have it. Also at Charlie's Pub this evening is Lucy Coe, the resident jack of all trades, master of none, real estate agent, head of deception,
Miss Nosy,
and published author. All the gossip you ever wanted to know about Port Charles. She's out with Jen Sidwell, probably the new villain in town. Has yet to be seen, but
criminal.
He has been villainous in the past.
He's a criminal.
We don't know what he's up to yet. His plan has not been made known, but it's gonna be dirty. We are convinced.
Very.
So Alexis sees him, as does Jordan, and they're like, oh, who's that with Lucy? Alexis has just met Jens because she had to give him the paperwork for having bought Windermere, which is a big property.
That was kept in her family for a long time.
Indeed.
Which still confuses me how this man was able to buy the island and the house, but...
Soap opera writing. Let's just put it at that. So Alexis says to Jordan, oh, that's Jen Sidwell. We were confused a little bit while we were watching because we weren't sure if Jordan knew who Sidwell was. Turns out she did because Jordan picked up, and by the way, I should probably say, actually, it doesn't even matter. Jordan picked up, she left, and she went straight to Laura Collins, the mayor, to let her know that Jen Sidwell is in town.
After her 2 dates decided to split.
Okay, I guess we will say. So, I've lost my train of thought. Sidwell. When we were talking about his villainy before, he had kidnapped Mayor Collins' son, Lucky, held him hostage for some time, which Laura is aware of.
Yes.
So when she finds out he's in town, she's upset. But then she gets this email from Lucy, who's asking for Laura to meet with Jen Sidwell because Lucy's all up in his, pheromones or whatever.
Oh, God.
And so she's trying to do well and get into his good graces. And so this is her way of introducing him. And Laura says, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I will meet with Jens. And so she calls him, introduces herself. They set up a meeting for the next day.
Schemy weemy ways.
When Jen Sidwell shows up at her office, Anna Devane is also there, the commissioner of the PCPD, and also had been held hostage by Jen Sidwell some time ago over in Africa. And so she's there, and both ladies tell him to get out of town. Nobody don't want you here. Jens is like, well, I haven't done anything. I'm not wanted for anything. So I look forward to proving you wrong in your opinion of me. And it turns out there's no warrants for his arrest with Interpol or whatever. They know who he is, but there's no warrants. Because where he had held Anna and Lucky and sundry other people hostage, well, it was a lawless part of Africa. There was no rules or regulations, so he could do what he wants.
Basically.
Other side story, Drew visits Curtis. So Drew, the dastardly uncle who slept with his nephew's wife, visits Curtis. Curtis Ashford is now the CEO of Aurora Publications, which was founded by Drew. And Curtis and Michael, I guess, schemed together to get the company away from Drew, which they did quite successfully.
They did.
When Drew double-crossed Curtis, because Curtis and Drew were good friends. So now Drew wants it back, and Curtis basically tells him to get to stepping.
Right? Basically, he's like, I am not going to betray your nephew, who's in a burn unit, and help you. I wouldn't do it when he was healthy. I ain't doing it now. So,
right.
Piss off.
Drew says, you'll regret this day. Basically.
In a non-menacing way.
And so, we'll see how that goes. Maxie, who's one of the heads of Deception, and Brooklyn Quartermain, or no, what's her last name, though?
No.
Chase.
What the heck? I'm like, Harrison Ford, Harrison Chase. What the? Oh my goodness.
Brooklyn Chase, formerly Quartermain, is working at Deception as well, which is owned by, or major shareholder is Tracy Quartermain.
Her grandmother.
So Brooklyn and Maxie are explaining to Lulu why she can't work at Deception. Lulu had applied for a job last week. Lulu is the other Spencer, Mayor Collins' other child.
Well, sorry. No.
She is her other child.
No. Sorry, no, because I was like, well, she has another child aside from Lulu and Lucky. But
yes,
I was like,
Nicholas. But
right, he doesn't matter. But sorry,
right.
I was like, Lucky's younger sister is what I was thinking. So
all right. Lucky's younger sister. There you go.
Pay me no mind.
So she's recently out of a 4-year coma. She's looking for a job so she can go find her child who's off with her father, the child's father, that is, Valentine Cassadine. But Brooklyn and Lulu do not get along, and the job is to work for Brooklyn.
Yep.
So they're explaining to her why she can't have the job. Lulu understands, and then Tracy shows up after she sorted everything with Willow and the police and everything. And she's like, Lulu, what are you doing here? Because Tracy was once Lulu's stepmother, and they get along famously. And Lulu explains she was here for a job, but it's not going to work out. She's going to go apply somewhere else. And Tracy says, nonsense, you're hired.
Yep, unsurprisingly.
Lulu, she did try to
back out.
This is not the way to go. And Lulu's like, I'll pay you double what the old assistant had.
Which really...
How can you refuse?
Nepotism at its finest.
So Lulu is hired. And lastly, Kai. I'm not sure that we ever knew his last name. I don't remember his last name. But anyway.
No, we do. Kai Taylor.
Oh, Kai Taylor, basically a new student at Port Charles University. Quarterback with a wicked arm, has brought the team out of the depths of despair, and they were going to state. He got injured last week. Well, his orthopedist comes in to see him, and it turns out that Kai will never quarterback again.
So he says.
Right? So Kai is very upset. Trina goes in to see him.
Trina does not know how to read a room.
Just after he's gotten the news. Well, she read it really quickly. She did say what's wrong. And so that's when Kai told her the news.
We don't know. He says he'll never play football again, but we'll find out next week how bad it really is.
And last but not least, so Carly, as we mentioned earlier, is off in Germany with Michael.
Yes, I forgot about Carly.
And Jack Brennan, the head of the WSB, or the World Security Bureau, which is basically a spy organization, shows up in Germany with Carly to make sure she's okay. And oh, isn't it sweet?
Because as you said, I had a meeting in England, and I thought I'd just pop over and check on you. I'm like, how real was this meeting in England?
I don't know. So that's basically all the news that's fit to print.
All right.
So is there any story you want to dig into more in depth?
Yes, actually, quite a few. But I think now is the perfect time for a small little break.
All right. Why don't we take a break and then we'll get into it.
All right, guys. We'll see you back here in a bit.
All right. Welcome back.
Hey, guys.
So let's get into it. What storyline do you want to start with?
All right. Actually, I want to quickly go over...
You want to start with Brick?
Sure, why the hell not? So, yes. Mick.
So much for the band you love.
Okay, no. Brick, the man who I actually don't know his last name.
Brick does not have a last name.
A man of mystery this man is. But yes, Brick, last time we saw Brick was... Probably around the time of Christina. No, that is a lie. That is a lie. I was going to say around the time Christina fell, but that is a lie because he had to do research into Isaiah for Jordan when he came to town.
Okay.
So, however many months ago that was.
Mm-hmm.
And Brick has been gone because Brick is not a regular on the show, unfortunately.
Nope. But the portrayer, Stephen W. Smith, maybe? Stephen Smith, anyway, he is a sportscaster and gives commentary. And I will try to find that for the other news section of our podcast so you know where to find him. Ah,
okay. All I remember is you showing me that clip about him making a comment about Rihanna for the Super Bowl. Anyway. Right, so Brick has been off in the ether of the world and has finally returned for the opening night of Charlie's. And he runs into Jordan, and I was like, Brick, my man, welcome back. Oh, but then she had a date with Isaiah. And man was not keen on it. And I was like, oh, Brick, your jealousy is showing.
Listen, Brick was smooth with it, though.
No, oh, my God.
Brick was smooth with it.
Oh, my God. No, for real. Man had his ways, man. Had his ways. Because he said a line to Jordan. I don't remember what the line was, but he said a line to Jordan. And Jordan said...
She's the only woman that he's interested in right now.
Right? And then she said, in like the next 15 seconds, are you going to say that to another woman? And he said, no. And I said, Brick, Mr. Sir.
Okay.
But then he ran off to Sonny and said, oh, Brick.
Indeed. He did, but he apologized, and he paid for the damage done by the bar fight. Very classy, Brick.
Which leads me into my next point, actually. Cody, you damn idiot.
Okay, don't hold back.
I love Cody. I love Cody so much. I didn't get to see much of him when he first arrived on the scene, when Britt was still alive, which is really upsetting because I know they had such chemistry. But yeah, Cody, what foolishness, man. If Matt could smack you upside the head right now, he would. But you're locked in a jail cell. Because I'm like, sir, one, you hustling up your brother-in-law, and you know your sister, Maxie, is going to kill you. Then you punch out Lucky. I said, why Lucky? What Lucky do to you? It's Lucky. There are too many men on the show, mama. Too many men on the show.
Too many women.
That too. But too many fine men. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, he punches out Lucky, and I'm just like, how you gonna do Lucky like that? What Lucky ever do to you? Aside from stop you from almost beating up Spinelli.
Right.
But yeah, the self-destruction, the spiraling, it's... At this point, he's like, I've always had bad luck. I'm like, you're making your bad luck at this point.
Yes. That's 100% true.
Oh my goodness. There's a song I like to listen to, and right now Cody is the epitome of this song because the title is called Grave Digger, and I'm like, yes, Cody, that's basically what you're doing. You're digging your own grave.
Okay.
Basically. You should check it out. Grave Digger by Livingston. Great song.
All right.
But yeah. That's what I got so far. Anything else? And we'll transition to something else. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any stories that I really want to dig into. Like I said, this week was very meh for me.
I do agree.
There was nothing that really I was like, oh, let's talk more about that. Oh.
Well, there is something I remember.
Go ahead.
It was when Alexis and Ava were at the pier, and as well as Christina, because I want to bring up this first half where Ava shows up, they're talking, and she apologizes to Christina for what happened to Michael, and then immediately turns around and says, though, it should have been Sonny. And I'm just like, Ava.
Yeah, that was not cool.
I'm like, Ava, come on. That was such a dirty, backhanded comment. Like, you should have stopped it being sorry about Michael, especially with the, I know what it's like. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, especially because you're already like, especially like, because right now you can relate to Christina in so many things. I'm like, you've lost a child, which again, you would never wish that upon anyone. Michael is now badly burned, which you of course also know of, and you would never wish upon anyone. So it's like, Ava, stop shooting yourself in the foot.
Right. But you know what? It's not just Ava in the sense of something the writers are doing, and I don't know if it's because we're doing this podcast and I'm now paying more attention, but I feel since these writers have taken over, people are taking really low blows at one another, which makes the story kind of interesting.
Yes.
But on the other hand, it's like, okay, but that's rough. Like, that's really rough. But it propels the story along, right? It triggers those reactions in the characters. Because we've had Sasha swipe at Willow. We had Willow swipe at Sasha. We have Drew swiping at everybody. Drew is just taking everybody's worst moment and flinging it in their face.
Narcissistic behavior, abusive behavior, just Drew
it's a way of life with the Quartermains. The Quartermains just, they pull out their little memo pad. It's like, okay, wait, what was the last nasty thing you did? Pew, in your face. So, but it's across the canvas now, and it's... jarring.
It's funny because the first thought that popped in my head, talking about Drew just taking blows at everybody, was I'm like, maybe it should have been Drew standing where Valentine was standing when Colette took a shot, because I don't think she would have missed.
Well,
Anyway, but I don't even know if I wrote this. I probably didn't. But what I do like how, and it still falls in line with the Ava, Christina, Alexis thing, is after Christina leaves, Alexis has a one-on-one with Ava, and she and Alexis basically is like, look, you need to stop going after my kid. Not just because I'm a mom and she's hurting and everything, but how would you feel if Avery was in Christina's position and some random woman kept poking at her and everything, and Ava was like, damn, you right.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm wondering, I'm curious to see how Ava will possibly change how she interacts with Christina now because of that. And hopefully, it might, I'm just hoping she remembers and just takes that to heart and actually was like, I don't think she'll apologize. I'll be very surprised if she does go to Christina and apologize for what she said, but
will she change her behavior?
Right? Because also thinking about it, it's like you say you wish it was Sonny, but it's like that's still Avery's father, and Avery loves her. Avery loves him. So it's still like, I understand you kind of wish he was gone and out of the picture, but it's still like, you got to think of how your daughter would feel.
Absolutely.
Because you're upset and you're fighting for her, and you're like, Avery loves me, she needs me, but it's like, yes, she does love you, she does need you, but she also loves her father, and she needs her father.
Something else in the Ava storyline that struck me as odd. As you said, so when Ava met Christina and Alexis, one of the things that Ava said to her was, okay, well, when you testify,
God,
blah, 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 blah. And Christina's like, wait, you mad? You still want me to testify? And I was like, yeah, of course. Fast forward, and then Ava goes to see Laura, who is Ava's former mother-in-law.
Yep.
Because we were talking about the other child that Laura has, which is Nicholas Cassadine.
Yep.
And Ava says, when you testify for me in this custody hearing with Sonny, blah, 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 blah. And Laura's like,
nope.
So funny thing happened on the way to the office. I won't be testifying for you anymore because, Sonny and I, we're getting along and we're co-grandparents and rah, rah, rah.
Right. And it's still kind of like, she doesn't need, it's like, because what Ava says is like, I need you as a character witness for her, not for Sonny.
Right.
Which I still get that, because like you're taking the stand, it still gives the opportunity for the opposing side to question you and ask questions about Ava's character,
Absolutely.
Which is all fair. It's like, once you're up on the stand, you're everybody's target.
Right.
But it's still like, she's not, at least Ava, in Ava's case, she's not asking you to tell about all of your transgressions that you've had with Sonny and why you stopped being friends with him for a certain point. She's like, no, but talk about my character. Talk about how, like, when Nicholas was going through whatever, yes, we had our issues, but I stood by him, or whatever. Like, that's what she needs.
So this is, you may have just provided the answer to my question, but what I was really surprised about is the same way Ava subpoenaed Christina, why would she not subpoena Laura? And I think what you said about her being a character witness, where I don't think Christina was coming as a character witness, it was more to testify to Sonny's misdeeds.
Yes.
So that might be the difference.
Yeah, I think I think it was. Oh my goodness, I don't even know if you can do this technically in this case or even at all, because I'm not a lawyer. But I think it was technically a character witness, but not for her. It was for against Sonny,
to impeach Sonny's character. Right. Agreed.
Which is why I'm like, I think I'm like, that might be what it was, but I could also be wrong. Like, I know.
Yeah. So that was my question there. I don't understand why Ava wouldn't just have subpoenaed her to get the information that she needed. Yeah. So.
Though.
But they have a different relationship. It's not a hostile relationship. So that might be it.
But I do find it interesting. I'm just like the relationship between Ava and Laura. I just find it just interesting as a whole.
But again, I don't really have anything else to pull out.
No.
So why don't go ahead?
I was gonna say I want to switch over to Tracy, because Tracy has just been very hilarious and interesting this entire week, save for yesterday, because she went, I wouldn't say nuclear on Willow, but she did go.
She went in.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the fact that Tracy is just like, we can all agree Tracy is very entitled. Like, very entitled. So when she's just sitting up in the interrogation room and just all these people like, I want water, not in a plastic bottle, in a glass bottle. And Dante coming in with coffee and she's like, I don't want this filth. And that actually might have been when she was asking for the water, actually. But and then Drew and Martin coming in and she just like, and I'm not telling you where those kids are. And she just like, oh my goodness. And she taking the court order and making paper airplanes.
Oh, that was funny.
Tracy was not bothered in the slightest. She's just like, my lawyers are coming and they're going to get me out of this. I'm not going to be charged. I'm not staying in lockup. And
I'm rich. I don't have to worry about you.
Again, the entitlement.
And she said that. She said that so many times. I'm rich.
But the entitledness, I'm just like, if there's any, like, you could have any show on this earth, and if there is an old, crusty old lady, just a rich, crusty old lady, Tracy, just get get her. I'm like, there was a moment, and I'm quickly switching because I'm like, because I think I told you that the actress who plays Diane Miller was on Disney.
Yeah, and Diane Miller. We haven't seen her in a minute,
but she was on a Disney show called Jessie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what her character's name was, but she was also very rich, and she was a little entitled, but she was just like, oh, she wasn't as bad as Tracy, but I loved her character in that, and it's just like, yeah, if you can't get Tracy to play some uppity old lady, mm-hmm. get Diane Miller, because Diane Miller will do a good job too. Okay. She won't be crusty and mean.
Right.
She can be mean. She was a bit mean to the kids in Jessie, but oh my goodness, just a joy to watch. So that's what that made me think of. And then I love how Lulu comes in being like, Tracy, come on, give it up, because they're gonna keep you here in lockup
for sure.
So I like how everyone is trying to convince Tracy to do something.
Everybody.
Not working. Jason comes in. He gets a little somewhere, but it's really Lulu that really puts the nail in the coffin and be like, she'll do it. She'll concede.
Right, because Lulu had told her, play the long game.
Right, basically giving him the same advice.
Yes. Anything else do you want to pull out of the storylines?
I do like that Sasha, because we haven't seen her much this week, very briefly at the start of the week, really, with her going to talk to Michael but not being able to because Willow kind of exhausted him. And which I will also say was very interesting to see Willow's reaction when Carly comes out and is like, he wants to talk to Sasha, and Willow's like, what a who? What a we?
Well, and I wonder if she will eventually figure it out, because there was that moment where Sasha was like, you can't take the kids. And she's like, why are you suddenly coming to Michael's defense? And now Michael's calling for Sasha, as you said, and Willow's like, what is going on? Will she be able to pause long enough to make that math work?
See, and I think with her now also not being near Drew, and the fact that, as Tracy said, if you want to see your little, I will filter my words. If I don't have anything nice to say, I won't say it. If she wants to see him, she has to go off Quartermain property. Mm-hmm. But since she'll be with the kids most of the time, hopefully, that'll be very limited. So she'll have more time to have a clear head and clear thoughts. And if that is the case, she'll piece it together, I think, fairly quickly. Compared to with Drew in her ears, her mind's clouded. She's not thinking straight. She's just angry all the time.
Well, you know what? If she don't make that math add up, when that baby pops out looking exactly like Michael Corinthos III, everybody will figure it out. So there you go.
Let's hope this baby looks like Sasha and not Michael. I'm just saying.
All right. Why don't we move on to our next segment?
All right, what's that?
The next segment is What Had Me Hot?
All right, do you want to start with this one?
I do want to start with this one. Trina. I don't know who was doing wardrobe on this day.
My girl.
But I really should put in a segment called Make It Make Sense. Trina shows up at the hospital in a nice shearling coat because why? It's the middle of January. It is cold. She's in her shearling coat. Joss is in a pea coat. It's clearly cold outside. They're talking about, oh, what are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you pan down and Trina is wearing the loveliest pair of mules. Now, at least I think that's what they're called because I'm not any kind of fashion expert. It's a lucky thing I even know that the coat was a shearling coat. But she's wearing these open back, no strap
Pink.
shoes, pink heels to match the top that she's wearing. She looked lovely, but it's cold. Where are your boots? Where are your sneakers? How your whole foot back out in the cold? I don't understand. This really cheesed me. Let's have some consistency. We know it's cold. We know it's bad weather. Christmas just passed. We saw all the snow on the set in Rice Plaza and at the Christmas tree lot. How this girl's out in these little skinty heels, I don't know.
Okay, again, we understand that y'all are college students in the show. We understand that y'all are fashionable, but my mom's right. Make it make sense. Because I'm like, okay, I don't... As someone who lives where she lives up in the Great White North, where temperatures get below minus 20 degrees, not including the wind chill, and sometimes including the wind chill getting up to negative 30, no. Sometimes I'll go out in a t-shirt, but my mom will cut my tail. You cannot, with snow and slush on the ground, be walking around in open-toed heels, no back strap. You cannot be doing it. Cannot. Because I've seen videos on the internet of women being like, when you want to go out and have a girls' night out and go to the bar and you tripsing up in your little high heels, but your feet freezing because you got open-toe high heels and not in boot heels or heel boots, whatever, and you got trips in like 5 centimeter high snow. Like, come on, common sense.
Common sense.
Common sense.
Anything on your list for what had you hot this week?
Definitely Cody spiraling and just lack of common sense. Drew thinking Curtis is going to betray Michael while he's injured. And as Curtis said, and as I said earlier, he wouldn't do it while Michael was healthy. So why the hell would he do it when he's injured? Tracy just playing the tail with these kids. And Willow. Nope. That's it.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
All right, well, then I'm going to sprint right into the next segment. What'd you do that for?
All right.
Also known as Who Called for That, but I don't have anything for Who Called for That. But I definitely have a What'd you do that for? That goes to Anna Devane.
What did Anna do?
Anna, in her frustration of having to deal with the shenanigans between Tracy and Drew, and Tracy being arrested, picks up the phone and calls Jason.
Right.
And says, come down here and sort out your family. And for the life of me, I don't understand why she called Jason. I recognize they have this connection from both of them being held hostage in Africa.
Which I don't like where they're going with this.
But he's not a cop.
Nope.
He doesn't consider himself a Quartermain.
Nope.
He is Jason Morgan. He has always held himself apart. Why she would think he has any influence over Tracy, I don't understand.
I was like, there's 2 people you can call in that family.
Right? Well, this is it. So I get that Anna's frustrated. It's nonsense.
Maybe 3.
There's nonsense. But this is what you're paid for, Anna.
Technically 4.
Are you done?
Sorry. I'm like, as I'm thinking of the people, the list grows. And so far it's 4.
But Anna, this is what you're paid for. Somebody has kidnapped somebody else's children. That is your problem.
And
now, granted,
really kidnapping.
Does she have custody of the children?
Somebody does, but
it's not Tracy.
I just know they're on the property, which is I'm like, I don't.
Tracy does not have custody of the children, and she's refusing to relinquish them.
Well,
I think that is the definition of kidnapping.
Fair enough on the fair enough on the holding them, technically. But she can't relinquish something. She doesn't know where they are.
We determined afterwards she knew where they were.
She said she was with Yuri. They were with Yuri. That's as far as she knew. She didn't know. They went on an extended drive. She didn't know where he took them.
So to me, that was just absolute nonsense. And to your point, I agree. She called absolutely the wrong person. If she was so concerned and felt it was a waste of taxpayers' money, because really, this was just Drew using the system. That is a fair point.
You can't see me, but I'm rolling my eyes so hard every time this man's name is mentioned.
She could have called Ned.
Yep.
Tracy's son.
First person she should have called, actually.
Absolutely. First person she should have called. But if she doesn't want to call Tracy's son, she could call Chase.
Yeah, that was
Chase is her grandson-in-law, but also a police officer. So kind of makes some kind of sense.
And he was there when she was arrested, so...
He was there when she was arrested. Possibly could have called Olivia, Ned's wife, her daughter-in-law. I don't know that it would have gone very well, but...
No, my second
makes sense
thought,
before Jason.
Right? My second... Here was the order of people I thought she would have called other than Jason. Ned. If Ned didn't pick up the phone or Ned didn't work, Brooklyn. If Brooklyn didn't pick up the phone or didn't work, Chase. If Chase didn't work or didn't pick up the phone, Lulu.
Lulu's not a quartermain. She would never think of Lulu.
No, she's not. But Lulu did eventually show up. However, Olivia was not on that list.
That's okay.
It's funny
because Brooklyn didn't make mine, but Brooklyn makes sense.
I'm like, heck, you could have called Cody, but Cody wouldn't have done anything either.
Brooklyn wouldn't have done anything.
No, I also randomly thought of Leo, but I'm like, Leo also wouldn't have done anything.
Leo is a child. What are you talking about?
They probably would have calmed her down. She loves Leo.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
All right. So that's what I had for that segment.
Okay.
Which has us sprinting right into villain or hero of the week.
Oh, I actually did have hero of the week, which was Brennan. Because aside from him helping Carly get all the arrangements done at the clinic, and again, me still questioning if he actually had that meeting in England, he showed up at Carly's hotel, and Carly was upset. I thought she was going to claw Brennan's eyes out when she opened the door, because all we see in the start of the episode is her busting the room and ready to pitch things. That's it. So I'm like, what the... But after sitting down with her and talking to her, he helps her calm down and rationalize what is going on. And then she's like, oh yeah, no, you got a point. I probably should take a breath. Like, the clinic has their reasons, yada yada. So he is my hero of the week because he didn't judge Carly. He himself even had a vulnerable moment and opened himself up a bit to Carly about his past and what excuse me, what he went through when he was an actual field agent. So
yeah, I did like getting that insight into Jack Brennan.
Props to Brennan. More points in the I love Jack Brennan category.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right. In my hero of the week, I don't have a villain because I'm tired of talking about Drew. But my hero of the week is Brooklyn. And this is actually when she and Maxie, and more Brooklyn at this point, are speaking to Lulu about why she hasn't gotten the job. And Brooklyn is explaining to Lulu all the things that Maxie has been going through while Lulu was in a coma. How hard she has fought to keep deception on the map. How Maxie is passionate and creative and just really, really edifying the person that Maxie is. And Lulu already knows how great Maxie is, but clearly, in her focus for getting her child, she just is not thinking about this. She's only thinking about herself and what she needs. And Brooklyn is like, I'm sorry, but I can't allow you to take advantage of Maxie because Maxie has worked hard for this and we can't risk it just because you feel you need a job. Mm-hmm. I thought that was fantastic. And I also liked where Brooklyn explained, listen, I know I have a part in why we don't get along. And part of the reason that I find it so hard to be around you is because I know I did you dirty. And every time I see you, despite me having become a better woman over the 4 years that you've been in a coma,
and apologizing.
Every time I see you, it puts me back in that moment where I was not behaving my best. I was not at my finest. And I thought Brooklyn did an excellent job. And the actress who portrayed that scene, she did a fantastic job. Right?
And I like how she's like, I've tried to apologize for it, but it's like also you kind of don't move past it. She was like, also it's like, yes, I've changed. It's like, I'm moving on. It's like, I have this life. I'm happy with this life. I don't want to live in the past. Also,
you keep throwing it in my face.
It's like and every time I see you, you're very critical of me. And she's like, and Lou's like, what? And Maxie, which I also liked, is like, nah. He's like, I love you, but reality check, you are. Technically, both of you are, but you are. And she's like, and Lulu takes a second. She's like, I don't mean to be. It's like, which in some cases you might not. In other cases, I think you do.
I agree. I think she does it on purpose 100%.
But I do like how all three of them, but especially Lulu and Brooklyn, took the time to just stop for a second
and hear
each other out and just be like completely honest with each other and not yell, not throw jabs, just like, this is a situation, like, please hear me. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It's like, but this is how I feel. And they both heard it, and they both like, I respect that, and I will try to do better. Even Lulu just being like, I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying not to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, but it's difficult. And they're like, we understand that. I even like the part where Brooklyn told, and it might be Maxie, but I like the part where basically they said, it's like, while you were in the coma, we all got tested. It wasn't just like,
yes,
it wasn't
Maxie
just like Dante and
Maxie.
Rocco. It was like Brooklyn and Chase got tested too, and Lulu was like, what?
Wait, what?
It's like, it's like, we may disagree, we may not like each other, but you're still family. Especially for my grandma. My grandma was distraught. So it's like, Dante was distraught. So it's like, if I can help, I'm going to help.
Yeah.
And so Lulu was just like, I didn't know. It's like, yeah, you didn't know you were in a coma. No one told you anything.
Yeah.
But
and just because you didn't know is not a reason for bad behavior. Like,
no,
you're just purposely behaving badly.
Right. So overall, and aside, and Lulu did give a little speech, and I really did think Brooklyn was gonna break for a second, because you could see her face, like when Brooklyn feels like sort of exasperated, but also kind of, she's just like, she feels for someone, her face gets a certain way, and I saw that look, and I was like, oh, she might break. She might concede and give Lulu the job. But then Tracy walked in, and her face went to the exasperated look, and she's like, oh, well, if I wasn't going to break, Tracy's going to break. Mm-hmm. And Tracy broke, gave Lulu the job. So I'm like, let's see how this goes with Brooklyn and Lulu.
Absolutely.
Which I still also think is interesting, because it's like, if you want her so bad, how about you make her your assistant instead of Brooklyn's?
Mom, maybe this is Tracy's way of making them get along, the two people she loves best in the world.
I don't even know if they know they don't get along. Or
Tracy is very well aware they don't get along.
Okay.
So, let's talk about predictions. Have you any?
No, I don't think I have any.
All right. I don't have any either, but I would like to mention, you say,
Sorry. This is not a prediction. Slightly a little bit, because it does fall in with what I said earlier. But there was a moment when Joss and Lucas were talking, and Lucas is asking Joss to make all these promises, and one of the times she says, you know I can't lie to you, which I like, because she's like, no, right? It's like, no, she ain't gonna make that promise. But I do like how Lucas tells her all these things, and he's like, don't go and do anything, and Joss is kind of like, what am I gonna do? And I'm just like, girl, you have a gun. What do you think you gonna do?
Jason, clear your calendar.
Right? And imagine this happens when Carly's off in Germany. That would be interesting.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna. But,
all right.
I think that was it. Just gonna
then, like I said, I don't have any predictions.
Nope.
But there was something I did read on the message boards that I found very interesting, and I like it better than anything we had predicted. Which was
I didn't see it coming.
With respect to Brooklyn and Dante's potentially being Gio's parents.
Did not think of this one, people. I didn't.
I don't know how we missed this. But the suggestion on the message boards was that it would not be Brooklyn and Dante, but Brooklyn and Cody. Because this happened when they were teenagers, so they all knew each other. So, Cody, we already know he's a bad boy. So maybe he slicked in behind his friend's back, did a little something.
And what would be interesting, though, is that would give him, one, another family member.
Yes.
And two, maybe this... And also, he has this really good relationship with Gio, so I like this.
It actually makes more sense, because Gio does not have dark hair like Brooklyn and Dante. He's blonde. Or blonded.
Yeah, dirty blonde.
Dirty blonde.
Which...
Like Cody.
Which, yes, I'm seeing this.
Blue eyes.
Right?
Like Cody.
Right? And here's the thing, though, that I think would be interesting is if this is in case the fact that the writers are writing this, and again, not making it obvious, like they said on the message board, that the writers are making it Brooklyn and Dante, hopefully Cody finding out that he's a father, if this is what they do, actually smacks some sense into him. Because it wasn't enough that he does have a family, and that family is Mac and Felicia and the rest of them, and that James is his nephew. It's like, really, it might actually be that he's a dad that might snap.
Maybe.
Because it's usually the fact that people find out they're a parent, and usually like, ugh!
Maybe.
So, shock to the system.
And I feel like I heard somewhere in the story that Dante said that he and Brooklyn had never done anything. Like, they had been close, but they were not that close. That's what I feel like they said.
Right, but...
And it's, now they're trying to make it seem like somebody was lying, but...
Exactly, especially with the fact that they had that little conversation, and it's like, we don't talk about that. So it's like, what y'all hiding?
Right.
Spill the tea.
So there you go. So that's
all.
Like, sorry,
I was like, spill the tea. Don't make it herbal, make it verbal.
Oh, my mercy. Okay. So that's basically it. So just to come back on a couple of things we spoke about really quickly in the podcast. So Brick, if you want to see him anywhere other than General Hospital, his name is actually Stephen A. Smith, not W. Smith, who's a gospel singer. Stephen A. Smith is an NBA analyst, and you can find him on SportsCenter on ESPN.
Does he talk about football?
He may talk about football. I don't actually watch him on SportsCenter, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay.
I know he's been there. I've seen some clips and stuff, but I don't really watch him there.
Sorry, I mainly asked not because I'm into football, but because you are, and the Super Bowl's next month, 2 weeks.
Right.
So.
And you mentioned Diane Miller, played by Carolyn Hennessy, and you said she was on Jessie.
I did.
And the character she played was Mrs. Rhoda Chesterfield.
Ah, yes,
if
Mrs.
anybody wants to
Chesterfield.
check that out.
Right. Seeing as how most, if not a majority of our listeners will be of over the age of 25.
I don't know why you think that, but okay.
Yeah. I don't suspect that any of them will be watching Jessie, but if you're interested, you can probably just find clips of her on YouTube.
Sure. I'm happy to promote any of the actors that are on General Hospital because they're all good. They're all good at their craft, and sometimes it's interesting to see them doing something other than what we're known them for. So
Right. All right, then.
That's about it for this week.
All right. So, guys, you've heard it here. You did not hear it first from us. Because you watched it on TV, I would hope.
That's hilarious.
But
you did get a little soap.
You did get a little sass.
There you go. So
a lot of sass.
Yeah. Should we try that again?
No, because,
okay.
Candid microphone. Since we don't have a candid camera.
Right. Well, y'all have a great week, and we will be back next week with another episode of Soaps
and Sass.
Bye now.
Good night.